Hey guys, Dragon Ball for Life here today, and I'm back with another video. We're back again with Saiyan Scholar. We're on his Dragon Ball GT's Horrifying Shadow Dragon Saga Part 2. I just finished the Part 1. I'm going to be start editing it after I'm done with this one. I do have a bit of time, but like I said in my last one, I am going to a football game, so a preseason football game, so I'm not going to have too much time to make more videos. So hopefully I can get this wrapped up quick enough. And sorry if you guys hear anything outside. There's people in my house, some people watching videos and talking. It can be annoying at times. But yeah, let's just get into it. We already talked about that stuff. I'm just going to say
gets marked by a bullet, but does that mean he's back to bullet level? Nah, he's heavily suppressed, right? That's okay because Super Goku gets a free pass on those things. He's allowed to be suppressed, but...
See what I mean? Like I said in my last video, he's a GT fanboy, and the biggest problem I have with GT fanboys is their competition is always with Super. When somebody criticizes GT, they're like, Super this, Super that. Here's the thing, I don't like Super. It's kind of like when you debate with somebody in politics. Like you say something bad about, let's say, a Republican politician like Donald Trump, and they're like, oh, Biden is this, Biden's that. It's like, I never said I like Biden or I voted for Biden. I just think Trump is bad. I can think both are bad, and I do think they're both bad. Same thing with GT and Super. I'm not a Super fanboy. I've shat on Super way more on this channel than GT I've ever have, and I will ever have, because there's quite a bit of stupid stuff from Super, and I highly doubt it's going to stop soon. When that came out, I already made a video about it, talking about it. So his argument is, falling on deaf ears when it comes to me, because it has nothing to do with me. The problem with his argument is only targeted towards a certain group of people, and that's the Super fanboys that are like, yeah, but the bullet stuff and that. I already agree that's stupid. So that's stupid and this stupid. What are you going to say to somebody like me who thinks that is dumb and this is dumb? What argument are you going to make to counter that? Because I already disagreed with that. So yeah, you can't really use that. I think he's too stuck with his hatred towards Super and his passive-aggressive anger towards the Dragon Ball Super fan base, disapproving of GT and ignoring it.
Super Saiyan 4 Goku beat hindered from being broken and beat Super
fanboys
who bring up these bollocks arguments. The double standards in this community, I tell you.
GT fanboy, I'll be honest, Super fanboys are horrible, but seeing from the way he's acting, I think GT fanboys might just be just as bad or even worse. Like, God, they love pissing about that.
Oh, don't. It's lamest misunderstood argument I've seen in the community. The mockery of GT can be easily struggling to push a skyscraper building.
Yeah.
This is a skyscraper that can be easily in the 200,000 ton range, based on an average skyscraper being around that, without interior contents or persons. And they think it's Super Saiyan 4's maximum lifting strength, despite him 1 minute later lifting half of the goddamn city from underneath.
I'm not saying that was his max. I'm saying that was way past his Super Saiyan, his base form, to the point, and all of his other forms, because he went automatic to Super Saiyan 4. So he was so weak that he had to go Super Saiyan 4 just to hold it back, and to pick up that chunk, he struggled in his Super Saiyan 4. After that, you see when he puts it back in place, he's huffing and puffing like he lost a lot of energy.
Half of the city, and most of the earth underneath the city. Do you know the weight of that? Do you know how dense all that is? Yes, this one is great fun. I mean, struggling is the most inaccurate word they use. The truth is, the struggle was not the lift, but the worry of not killing everybody inside the building by pushing it too hard. I mean, first of all, name me a greater lifting feat of just pure lifting strength in the entirety of the Dragon Ball franchise. Go on, I'll wait. Oh, hold on. Metal Man, right? 1,000 or so tons. Post-Battle of Gods, mind you, and Vegeta broke his goddamn back. How about Yardrat Vegeta deflecting an approximate 5,000 ton building, where Vegeta was stronger than the Zarbon wannabe anyway, so could obviously lift it? A building that barely looks one story of that entire skyscraper building.
Like I said, he's too stuck on trying to disprove the GT fan base instead of trying to actually prove why this makes any sense. Because to me, I'm not a GT fan, I'm not a Dragon Ball Super fan boy, so I will agree, yeah, Super is stupid to have that bad writing, but also the manga is different than the anime. The whole 1,000 ton, Magetta thing was never in the anime, it was only the manga. And I do agree it is dumb, but to say that, well, that looks pathetic and this is better than that, this is still pathetic compared to what we've seen and what you've been telling us. And I'll get into why that is really pathetic in a bit. But yeah, his arguments are more targeted towards specifically Super fanbase, and it seems like he kind of has like, a vendetta against them. Whereas me, I'm like, both of them have bad writing, and I'm calling out bad writing. I'm not doing it just to shit on these series. If it has good writing, I'm going to call out good writing. If it has bad writing, I'm going to call it bad writing. Super has bad writing in and inconsistencies when it comes to power scaling, but so does GT. But in his mind, he ignores GT's bad writing and either, over exaggerates or amplifies it. And you see through all these other videos. Now, he's saying that this building is 200,000 tons. I don't know how much a building would weigh, but I highly doubt it will weigh 200,000 tons. From what Screw Tack calculated, the city should be only 160,000 tons, so that should be less than the building. But let's just say, for argument's sake, that it is 200,000 tons. He's saying he don't want to push it too hard. You tell me that he would need to go Super Saiyan 4 to do that? He could simply just push it back a little. He was struggling. You could see Goku was like, oh, it was not a struggle of, oh, I don't want to push it too hard. It was more of a struggle of like, this shit is heavy. I can't hold it. I need to transform if I want to push it back normally. And we're going by that. Let's go based off of a base Goku. Let's go off of all of his math that he's given. At this point, base Goku is what, 7 octillion times stronger than Kid Buu? By that logic, you're telling me that Kid Buu could not even lift up 1 ton or push a ton? Because of he's getting more stronger. If he got 7 octillion times stronger than him, let's say Buu was just could lift up 1 ton, which would be complete understatement. But let's say he can lift up 1 ton. By the 7 octillion tons times more powerful than Kid Buu, that would be 1 ton times 7. That would make him 7 octillion tons of weight he can lift in his base alone. Yet you're saying 200,000 tons because we've never seen Goku lift heavy stuff. And I will admit, throughout the franchise, they have had no real, lifting strength feats. Lifting strength feats, but that does not mean that this one that's inconsistent and makes sense. So if you're saying he's 7 octillion times stronger than Kid Buu, that would mean that Kid Buu would have to, for him to lift up 200,000, that would be 200,000 divided by 7 octillion, which would be how strong Kid Buu would be, which would be insignificantly weak. There's no way you can actually make that argument. There's no way you can logically make that argument to me that that's the case, because like I said, you're going based off that, and the multipliers, you're putting them in octillions, septillions, sextillions. If you're putting him in that high numbers, why is he struggling with the building even in his base? That doesn't matter if it's in his base. He should not be struggling with octillions and septillions and whatever. That does not make any sense. That is just a BS reasoning or argument that he has right there. So yeah, I'm disagreeing with him on that. So guys, yeah, I know you guys are probably wondering what's happened. Yeah, I had to go to a preseason football game. I was watching the Bears versus Seahawks game. Go Bears, they won. Yeah, I had to go watch it, and I was in the middle of doing my second video on this, and I had to go. By the time I came back, I didn't have enough time to, finish making this video and upload my first video. So I will be uploading the first part of this video today, and then I'll be uploading this one, which, is going to be spread between 2 days. And then I will be, don't worry, I will be dropping out my recap / discussion video on Dragon Ball manga chapter 87, I think it was. Yeah, I'm going to be dropping on the Dragon Ball Super manga chapter 87. I'll be doing a discussion about that. So you're going to have 3 videos today. One that was supposed to be yesterday, one that was yesterday and today, and then another one that's just for today, which is the Dragon Ball Super manga chapter 87 recap and basically discussion. I'll talk about that later, but for right now, let's talk about this topic. I forgot where I was at. I think I was talking about the building and stuff, and just talking about the fact that he's trying to, his argument is, well, this is the most impressive strength feat that we've seen throughout Dragon Ball. And I guess you could say that, yeah, because Dragon Ball, usually when they show strength, they're usually showing it through their like how hard they can hit a person or damaging somebody who's super tough. It's usually not them lifting up something or pushing something heavy. That does happen once in a while, but that's never usually the most case, and especially in this. But like, my argument was, even if it might look cool and impressive that way, if you think about it, the feat's still not impressive. His argument is there's like a 200-ton building. He had to go Super Saiyan 4 to be able to do it. He couldn't do it in his base. He was struggling, and he says his base is 7 octillion times stronger than Kid Buu, and I'm pretty sure Kid Buu is not that. Because by that logic, that would mean that for him to be struggling to lift up a building that's 200,000 tons, that would mean that Kid Boo's power, his strength will be less 7 octillion times less than 200,000 tons, which makes no sense. That would put his strength at the grams. Like he could lift up only a couple of grams, which makes no sense. Yeah, I just think it's bad writing, and he's trying to. His argument is, well, Super's had terrible power scaling and feats, and this is the most impressive feat. But it's like, just think about it logically. If you're saying he got this ridiculously powerful in GT, why is he struggling with something like this? I'm pretty sure Kid Buu could easily knock over a building. This guy's struggling to push back a building in his base form, which he stated he's 7 octillion times stronger. Sorry.
Whilst in mid-air and nothing to push off, as compared to being on the ground like Vegeta. That doesn't weigh up in the slightest to GT.
Nothing to be pushed off of. You don't need that. He can fly. The fuck? We've seen this in every fictional world of superheroes and stuff. Do you think Superman has something to push off of when he's putting down a plane or anything else? The hell, he's always lifting it off while he's flying. And on top of it, he did the same thing with the city and didn't have a problem. So no, that's not an excuse.
The best thing about the skyscraper building is that if you actually watch the full episode, and
I
know
did.
that's a struggle for you, instead of some dumb YouTube clip that's cut down, then
I watched
base
it, yeah.
GT Goku actually catches the building, yes, in base form, and pushes it, yes, in base, whilst in the air with his tiny arms for a moment, where you see it swaying up and down, clearly showing you that base Goku held it and pushed it. He did.
Wow, he was able to catch the building falling and hold it up for a couple of seconds and struggled his ass off, so he had to transform to Super Saiyan 4. That's not impressive, like I said. These characters are significantly stronger. Even in Dragon Ball Z, this shouldn't have been a struggle for Goku to do. And the fact that he's saying he's 7 octillion times Kid Buu level in his base, it would put him ridiculously past that. Why is he struggling with this?
Didn't even break the goddamn glass when pushing that building. You were right, guys. He definitely isn't glass level. Or maybe glass in GT is god tier, because that...
This guy's being an idiot now. We all know that they have the ability to transfer their energy into inanimate objects and, hold it in. That's how Trunks was able to cut down, Frieza. Because his sword is just a sword in the end of the day. There's no way in hell he could cut down a being like Frieza who is super durable. The reason he was able to do is because he pumped his energy into the sword, making it strong as himself. So I'm guessing the way Goku did it in the argument, or since his GT possibly didn't even take into consideration, but for argument's sake, it was most likely he put his energy into the building itself, so when he did touch the glass, he didn't push his hands through it, but was able to have a barrier on it, so he can at least push off of it, while not having to worry about destroying it. In comic books and in fiction, it's called tactile telekinesis, when they can lift up an object, like a heavy object, without puncturing through it. So yeah, I don't get what his point is here.
Glass being pushed took the weight of the whole goddamn skyscraper. Or maybe it's Goku's amazing ki control. He's such a master of ki control.
I don't know why he's trying to push this. This is so impressive. We've never seen this before. This is base level shit. He said the same thing for, he can adapt to these abilities. Goku said this all the time. It's not something new. Does this guy ever watch the fucking real thing, or does he only watch GT 100 times and thinks that this is the main continuity now? We know this. This is fucking basic ass shit. It's nothing special.
Crack the glass whilst pushing a 200,000 ton skyscraper.
200,000 tons is nothing.
It's the key control Super Saiyan Blue only dreams of. Throw a 50
Wow,
times
see what I mean? His focus is not on trying to prove GT's power scaling makes sense. He's compared to Super. I already admit Super is bad. So where's your argument with me? You're arguing literally with just the fanboys. When you're still a fanboy, I can call your fanboy arguments out too. This is just such a dumbass thing. I hate it when people have their own vendetta against something else, and they're not thinking logically. Think logically and use a reasonable argument instead of saying, well, this show did this and we did it better. That doesn't matter. If that show had stupid writing and you're defending your show that also has stupid writing, just because it's less stupid does not make it not stupid. It's still stupid.
It's a linear increase in strength. And these chumps think Super Saiyan 4, that's his maximum lifting strength. It's great, isn't it? So there you can see the lies straight away from those.
His max was that little city thing.
200,000 tons is far.
Also, where do you get the 200,000 tons for the building? I'm going to search up, an average building. How much would it weigh? Okay, so yeah, I did some research. I skipped, I edited out a little. But from what I found, the Empire State Building weighs around 365,000 tons. But that is one of the largest buildings in the world. That one seemed like an average sized building. So even the 200,000 tons thing, I don't know where he got that from. But even if we do go with that argument, it's still not impressive from what we seen these guys do. And the levels of powers this guy's going up in magnitude. Why is he struggling even in base to do that?
Manor, the one-story building on Yardraan. Even if you want to go with a lifting strength comparison, base GT Goku did in fact push it. So at bare minimum, it's 40 times more impressive than Yardraan.
Once again, this is not proving that this strength feat is a good one. It's just saying it's better than Super's.
Swayed, the skyscraper. Do you even know the point of the episode in that scene? Let me tell you, because you obviously skipped the majority of GT. That scene was about Goku and Pan acting as heroes to save the city, whilst the evil dragon was trying to destroy it. They were doing superhero shit in a
Then why? Okay, that's the dumbest argument. This episode was indicating that they're doing superhero stuff. Okay, but what does that have to do with him struggling to do it in his base and have to go Super Saiyan 4? Why couldn't he just do that superhero stuff in his base? So because they were trying to indicate, like, look at how heroic they are, they made him struggle to do a basic thing? Have you ever seen Superman struggle to fucking do this shit, or any other, like, superpowered being? Get the hell out of here. That's the dumbest argument.
Saving the people, like Superman does.
Yeah, and Superman does not fucking struggle to lift up a fucking building. If you're trying to argue that Goku got 7 times stronger than Kid Buu, he should not be struggling to lift up a building just like Superman.
Wayne and Goku was being extremely careful not to kill everyone inside by a collapsing building if he pushed it forward too far. He was trying to be steady and place it back to its normal position.
Good excuse.
That's actually extremely good key control if you think about it. Imagine Goku used his max strength and pushed that building and killed everyone. What sort of writing is that? Goku...
So he had to go Super Saiyan 4 to push it back without pushing it too hard. He couldn't do that in his base. He couldn't just... This is the dumbest argument ever.
For 2 reasons. Firstly, in the way he transformed, looking cool in the window in front of all the screaming people.
I'm gonna skip this dumbass
This
argument.
is your hero. This is GT. Ever, right? The most important...
This is the dumbest argument. This is such ass...
...to a secure position, save everyone's goddamn life. Super Saiyan 4 is the most ideal form to be in action with. It's Goku's most balanced form. It's so efficient in ki control, stamina, strength. What a full-fledged adult with ultimate power and save all the people efficiently.
Well, then if that's the case, then why the hell did he make this character a fucking kid? Like, that's the most dumbass decision ever. If that's your argument, oh, they had to make him go Super Saiyan 4 to showcase off that stuff. Why wasn't he Super Saiyan 4 from the jump? And second of all, why would the show carry on with him being a kid? They could have transitioned to him, making him an adult again, instead of having to go, oh, he turns into an adult, but he has to go Super Saiyan 4, which makes no sense how a transformation will make him go from a fucking kid to a grown-ass adult. That makes no sense.
Without taking any rip, the Reddit, The Rock as a child, such a ridiculous, desperate, that's why. And if you actually paid attention...
Why is it doing this? Why is the internet goes off and then the internet is like fucking being a bitch trying to download and then it comes back and then now it's like fuck you, man. This laptop has been a bitch forever now.
Skyscraper building the GT Goku pushed Cheetah is the mute and the glass whilst pushing a 200,000 ton skyscraper. Think about that key control. It's the key controls the Metal Man to 1 billion tons or raw lifting. And Dragon Ball Super damage you that much is at least, even if you wanted to get city from underneath scene without taking any risks.
Sorry for that. For some reason the internet went out. It was like uploading these videos and taking time for it has been really being annoying. It's just pissing me off. My laptop has been a little bitch for a while now. Sorry for that.
Whilst acting as a hero, which was the direction of the scene. But you missed that, didn't you? The Reddit hate page is enough for you. Lifting feats have always been...
He literally sounds like a butthurt fanboy that's been pissed off because people have been criticizing GT for years, which it was reasonable for them to criticize it. He's acting like, oh, these guys don't understand. I rewatched it not even that long ago, like not even a month ago. This was the most ass experience I had watching. I was I don't know why, but it made me depressed. I wanted to kill myself after watching GT. Super pisses me off to the point where I lose my shit, but GT makes me depressed to the point where I want to end it because of how dog shit it is, of how boring it is, of how much of a disappointment drag it is. It took it into the most disgusting direction of Dragon Ball could go. It made me want to puke because of what they did to Dragon Ball. It was a fucking disgrace of all the disgraces to the Dragon Ball franchise.
Consistent Dragon Ball anyway. The Rock as a child, the 40-killer superhero sketch scene in terms of actual combat scenarios, because you're desperate, that's why. And if you actually paid attention to it properly, like him lifting the goddamn city from underneath, then it's actually more of an impressive lifting feat than you thought possible. But you didn't tell it right, did you? No, you lied once again. Even if you wanted to get technical, what if...
The problem is not the fact that he's such a dumbass. Like, this guy does not know what the hell he's talking about when it comes to these power scaling videos. He sounds so dumb sometimes. Here's the thing. The people are not complaining about, saying that Super Saiyan 4 can only lift up a building. We know he can lift up the city. Our argument is the fact that he's struggling in his base, and his base should be significantly stronger. If his base is struggling to lift up that building, then it means that any form of them from Z would be struggling to hold a building, which is just stupid that now that it takes this levels of power just to be able to do that. And even if you say the Super Saiyan 4 was holding the city, he was not holding the whole city, he was holding a chunk of it. Even though that might be more impressive in your eyes, it's still pathetic to us. Because for us, as Dragon Ball fans, we would assume these characters could be moving planets at this point, Planets. Insane objects. A city, that isn't shit. We've seen this with all comic book characters. Superman can do more than that, and that's even from his weaker iterations. The Incredible Hulk can do that. Hyperion can do that. Sentry can do that. Countless other Thor can do that. Countless other characters in Marvel and DC can do these feats easily. And we're having Goku getting all this stronger. We're assuming that he's super powerful and he's struggling to do this shit. That is the problem. We're not saying that Super Saiyan 4 is only able to hold up a building. Our argument is even at his max city thing, he did get tired. So that was basically his max. That is still not impressive. We're assuming that these guys are planet level. Your bar for them is so low that even the littlest, most insane feat to you is considered impressive, but for the rest of us, it's very pathetic.
Multiply you want to give to Super Saiyan 4 because the forms are a set increase of strength, then he's lifting that many more skyscrapers, at least in terms of what we saw base Goku push here for a moment. You must be so desperate for points against GT. Did Dragon Ball Super damage you that much? Go and watch your precious Dragon Ball Super and bring me the best lifting or pushing feats in terms of raw lifting strength.
This guy is... I think this guy's damaged by Super because he's just focusing on that. If I was to have an argument with him, I would be like, I don't like GT, so what is your argument for me? Because I'm saying that this is just bad power scaling. Well, GT, I don't give a shit about GT. I don't give a shit about Super. I'm talking about GT. Why is this power impressive? From what we've seen, Goku at very least, even if we argued that, at the final, Super Saiyan 3 Goku was only able to lift a single ton, 1 ton, which is unbelievably pathetic, okay? 1 ton. With your calculations in base, he got 7 octillion times stronger. That would mean he would be able to lift up 7 octillion tons, which would mean he would be able to lift up the entire goddamn planet. That would mean he would be close enough to lift and push the sun. The sun. That's how powerful it would be from just his base, and that's going off of 1 ton. And we know Super Saiyan 3 Goku, his strength is beyond 1 ton, obviously. But if we were to even lowball to the highest degree, 1 ton, and go with your multiplier of the 7 octillion tons, then that would mean he would be able to lift up 7 octillion tons. Either that feat is just unimpressive, or your math is just incorrect, which I think both are the case.
The Metal Man to 1 billion tons or something shit like that. Well, they said he's over 1,000 tons. That must mean 17 quadrillion tons. Not close to 1,000. Super fanboys, I tell you. Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta is a confusing one. frustratingly, and causes an ultra full power headache. Many don't realize this, but Bulma only helped Vegeta become a regular Uzaru. Vegeta went Golden Ape and Super Saiyan 4 all by himself. In the GT Perfect files, it states Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta's power should be relative to Super Saiyan 4 Goku's power. Is this inconsistent in the actual show? Goku has grown ridiculous amounts as an ultra full power Saiyan 4, right? And yet Vegeta struggles to keep up with Nova Shenron after he's...
That's why you do not take these guys too literal. People, that's the problem with him and people like him. He's been ignoring all these inconsistencies, and he did, you know, maybe if he does it in this one, it'll be kind of hypocritical. I don't know yet. But if he's saying, well, that doesn't make sense, so I'm not going to take into consideration, then it's going to be like, well, the whole point, in your entire video, you've been ignoring these, you know, inconsistencies, and now you see an inconsistency that you can't avoid, and you're like, okay, I'm going to avoid it. Because in the guys, they're saying they're equal, but obviously in the showing, they're not equal at all. Obviously, in his mathematics and his logic, these characters should be on par, but from what we know, that doesn't make any sense. So what do? You go by the most reasonable way of thinking. These guides, he goes by the guides and these statements way too much. Statements, like I said in my video about statements versus feats, I argue that some people say that feats only matter, statements don't. I don't agree with that. But I also don't think statements are on the level of feats. The only time a statement counts is if there's something that, you know, backs it up throughout the story or stuff. But statements in general should be ignored unless they have evidence. If they do not have evidence and they have contradictory, you know, showings, then disagree with it, ignore it. So yeah, here's one right there. Also, I do want to mention, because he will not say this, but I put in my GT power scaling video how when Vegeta did go to his regular ape form, he was actually able to hurt Super Saiyan 4 Goku. He caught him, and he was able to crush him. Now, some of you say, well, maybe he's not trying to hurt Vegeta. He doesn't have to hurt Vegeta. He could still try to maneuver around him. He could have tried to, like, you know, dodge him with his speed. He should have been able to move out of the way. And even if he was, like, grasped onto him, he should have been able to break out of his grasp and move, or be able to handle it. But if you see if you check out my video, you will see there's a clip where he's legit holding onto him and squeezing him and crushing him, and you see Goku in pain. But Goku's Super Saiyan 4 and he's only in his you know, regular ape form, and he's hurting him. So it shows the power scaling and the writing in this is awful, or for some reason these characters are just not as powerful as they try to make them out to be.
Relative to the previous Goku that fought Nova. Now, either Vegeta did match Goku's new Super Saiyan 4 power, and Nova, once reborn, gained a serious power-up, or Vegeta is far weaker than Goku when both are at full power. And I'm talking approximately 77 times weaker than Goku, because that's the power-up Goku got in Ultra Full Power. Think about this. These two perform similar against Omega Shenron, and a similar power is needed for a fusion dance to work. By concept, they have to be equal. Or we can use headcanon to say Goku lowers his power to match Vegeta, which is never stated. Or we can use the plot and say Goku's power was weakening, so it naturally went down to Vegeta's levels. That one seems very thin though, because Goku's weakened power wasn't stated until sometime after Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. Even after they defused, Omega kept trying to stop them fusing, because he still found Goku's power a threat. It wasn't until many failed attempts and beatdowns that Omega then realized Goku's lost all his power to sustain fusion. So it was always implied Goku and Vegeta were level before going into the first fusion dance, and even trying it a second time. But it was after that he started to weaken fast. So yes, this one is a goddamn headache, as you can tell, to work out Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta. So the way I'm going to do this and make it work is bring in Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta's power equal to Goku's in a massively insane plot and convenient boost, in order for fusion to work and to go hand in hand with the GT Perfect file.
This is a perfect showcasing to me, and I think to you guys. I stated in a couple of my videos before that I think it was my problems with Dragon Ball, you know, modern day Dragon Ball. Basically, I was talking about the writing and the power scaling of Dragon Ball to the point where it got so bad that I used to power scale, you know, Dragon Ball Z, and then even Super, and try to make some arguments and excuses. I tried to be like the fanboys, but there was a point where it got too much, and I was like, you know what, none of this makes sense. And that was the episode 100 where Kale, you know, was able to walk through Super Saiyan Blue Goku's Kamehameha and then smash him and stuff. And no matter what argument people used, it was not enough for me. And looking through now all the other stuff they've been doing, it was reasonable for me to be like, you know what, this is bad writing. And I got to the conclusion that Toriyama does not give a shit, Toyotaro does not give a shit, and Toei Animation does not give a shit about the power scaling and the consistency. So why do we as fans care so much about it? Obviously, we care why we care about it, but why should we care so much about it when even the writers themselves don't give a damn about it? And the problem with that is, of power scaling only works. It works for a couple reasons, but one main reason it only works is if the writer at least cares enough about it, where they do not care. Especially Toei, which had the full rights of GT, and you can see it through the way they worked with it. But my argument there was, it's pointless to, you know, power scale these characters or try to depict how strong they are or do this math and stuff, because it does not make sense. When you do try to do it, it is inconsistent. He's doing that with GT and it's not working at all. He's trying to fit puzzles in and he thinks he's got the formula, but he's just a fanboy. From an outsider's perspective who might either just like GT to a normal extent or not like GT, we can see that this is not reasonable. Any of these like comparisons, them getting this more powerful from doing nothing and all this stuff, is just illogical. So when you deal with a show like this, the best thing to do is ignore it entirely when it comes to, you know, power scaling. I do commend him for, you know, going out there and doing it, but if I'm being honest, I would never personally, you know, do it. I'm not gonna do a power scaling video on Super itself as a whole. Like, how powerful do these guys get? Why? Because Super is very, very inconsistent when it comes to the power scaling. It got to the point where I was like, they don't care. They're doing whatever they want, whatever is convenient for them, whatever gets them more toy sales, whatever. They're doing it to the point where they don't care. So it's not logical to do it. If you think about it, because if you're trying to put logic into something that has no logic, you're not going to come to any conclusion. The best thing to do is just avoid it altogether. I see that with this, and the reason why I'm mentioning this is what I'm trying to state is GT and Super are on the same level when it comes to their power scaling. It's so bad, it's so inconsistent, it's so poorly written, it's so, it has so many holes in it to the point where you cannot accurately or seriously depict their power scaling and do it without sounding like a fanboy or, you know, just making a bullshit or making headcanons and over exaggerating their power. So the best thing to do is just not do it. Like I said, I can see why he's doing this and I commend him. I'm not saying he shouldn't make this video, but for me personally, I would never make a GT power scaling video. I did make a power scaling video, but that was different. I was not going through their transformations and stuff. I was just going through some feats to argue with somebody. But I would never do that for Super or GT because simply GT and Super's power scaling makes no sense. There's no point. It's going to contradict itself and it's going to be a headache like he's having right now. The whole Vegeta and Goku thing makes no sense, so he has to force it in. It makes still no sense. And he just has to ignore it. And then it's like, what's the point of people can just contradict it every time? But yeah, GT Super, there's no point power scaling because it's very inconsistent. Dragon Ball Z might have some inconsistencies, but you can still power scale them to a reasonable extent. Whereas these two, they've gone off the rail to the point where if you're doing it, you're just going to be crazy.
The Nova Shenron versus Vegeta moment, we can simply conclude he outclassed Vegeta due to his insane speed, and a crazy plot power-up if you want to after being reborn. But we never do see Goku outclass Nova's max speed, so that still holds weight as to why Vegeta couldn't keep up with him. Goku won by outsmarting Nova. That's nothing to do with physical speed. And plus, Vegeta does use the Ultra Brute Swings emitter, so that makes sense. It would make sense he's Ultra too, right? And this makes Vegeta's new base form as 7 octillion times out of Kid Buu along with Goku, making Vegeta's base
but struggling to lift a 200,000 ton building.
He was in the Super 17 saga.
See that? 25 quadrillion times stronger. How? I bet the most he did was training in the, the gravity chamber. He did that throughout all of Z. He didn't get that powerful. How did he get 25 quadrillion times stronger since the Baby Saga? He hasn't done jack shit. From, the Super 17 arc, all he did was get bodied, and then this one he did nothing.
Super Saiyan 4 form relative to Goku's at 47 duodecillion times stronger than Kid Buu. Still not enough to beat Omega separately, but there is one who can do that. The strongest fusion character in Dragon Ball history. Or is he? Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, let's get straight to business. Fusion multiplier law is so inconsistent, and we need to stick with one. So I'll do my best.
Even in Super, it was inconsistent. When we had, Super really fucked it up when it came to the transformation. When we had Goku Black and Zamasu mix, we thought they were going to be ridiculously powerful. But nope, apparently they could be hurt and individually defeated by Goku and Vegeta by themselves. If they had at full energy, they somehow would have been able to beat them. Even though Goku Black by himself could have beat them easily. So that didn't make any sense. They had him super weak. Then they had Kale and Kefla's fusion, which was Caulifla. And Caulifla and Kale's transformation that was Kefla, and it was a speed blitzing Super Saiyan God Goku base and stuff, and then in Super Saiyan 2 is equivalent to the power of Kaioken, Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken times 20, Spirit Bomb Goku's power within just Super Saiyan 2, which made no sense, and it was stated it only got 10 times stronger, tens of times stronger, which was like, what? So yeah, I will admit, when it comes to just, fusions, the power scaling is just not consistent at all.
In explaining what fusion multiplier I chose for this, because we are all going to be different, guys. So let's break down some of the source material and stick to our guns here. Firstly, A times B from the Super Exciting Guide. No other material supports this, and it's broken. It's not a set fusion amp. The fusion multiplier itself widens the stronger the fighters are, so I'm not using this one. Next, we have the GT Perfect file stating Gogeta Super Saiyan 4 is dozens stronger than a regular Super Saiyan 4. I spoke to Herms98, who translated it, and it literally does translate to regular Super Saiyan. Have the GT Perfect file stating Gogeta Super Saiyan 4 is dozens stronger than a regular Super Saiyan 4.
That's not that much.
Herms98 translated it, and it literally does translate to several tens stronger than an individual Super Saiyan 4. When reading across from the page with Super Saiyan 4 Goku and Vegeta there, several tens stronger. It's also backed up in the Dragon Ball Z Son Goku Densetsu, where it used a similar.
So you see right there was the problem right there. He said that Super Saiyan 3 Goku couldn't handle Buu tanks, but then but Super Saiyan 3 was able to at least handle Kid Buu, which he said Kid Buu should be the strongest version of him. If he can't handle a weaker version of him, then how is he able to handle a stronger? So that very contradict there. But yeah, the fusion stuff doesn't make too much sense. But from the fusion calculations, it's A plus B, so basically their powers both added, then times that by 100. And he does use that calculation, in his Dragon Ball Super one. So I don't know why in this one he changed up the mathematics for the fusion's multiplier, but in the in Dragon Ball Super one, he kept it from the guides where he said he's not going to use. So it's weird.
Dozens or several tens that's being referred to for fusion dance. Potara fusion is hundreds, if not thousands, above Goku or Vegeta's base power alone. Gogeta in the Broly movie states the two powers aren't just added together, they're significantly magnified as well, and that's for the fusion dance. The truth about this, guys, is there is no truth. It's all inconsistent. This is a never-ending debate. You literally go around in circles, and you basically just have to choose one, explain it, and be reasonable with what tens or dozens mean. Some love to go high balls and low balls, but I feel a mid-ground is the best here, because it's rare we get to see full power of fusion anyway. So I'm not going with A times B, like I said, that's inconsistent in itself. So for fusion, I tend to go with A plus B.
Oh, okay, so yeah, this is the one. I was confused. I was like, didn't he use this for Supers one? So why is he using it now?
By 100. That way it's not hundreds, it sits reasonably as tens and can be classified as that, but also low balls are rounds down the dozens term too. As you know, a gross is 144,
and it is reasonable to add, their power and then times it by 100, which is still impressive.
Dozens and a little bit more to round it to 100 is not an unreasonable multiplier either. But what do I mean by A plus B? Well, A plus B base forms then times 100. In Vegeta's case, that would never match Wuhan. That would literally result in a power equal to Super Saiyan 2 Goku or Super Saiyan 2 Vegeta alone. And we know base Vegeta was far above that level. So A plus B I refer to as the strongest parts of both warriors and their best power, then times 100. So for Vegeta and Z, it's Super Saiyan 3 Goku plus Super Saiyan 2 Vegeta.
I don't know about that exactly. I'm not saying it's not true, but I don't know about that. I mean, yeah, he kind of does have a point, even though in the manga, he found from the jump from Super Saiyan instead of base. But even so, Super Saiyan is only 50 times stronger. So if you did add the bases together and then times that by 100, that wouldn't be that powerful. Even if you put an additional 50 times on top of that, it still wouldn't have been enough to destroy Wuhan. So yeah, I guess I agree with him on that part. But it just still seems weird that even when you don't go into your Super Saiyan states and you fuse, and then you it's just weird. I don't know. I'm not saying he's wrong. I'm just saying I don't know. It's just confusing
so
at times.
Essentially, base Vegito is over 100 Super Saiyan 3 Gokus. You can't really knock that. I mean, Boo Tanks was wasted Super Saiyan 3 Goku and then went a tier above again after absorbing Gohan. Base Vegito is
Once again, like I said, if he's saying that Kid Buu is the strongest version of Buu and he equates Super Saiyan 3 Goku to Kid Buu close around his level, but they said Buu Tank was destroying him and then they went to Buuhan, which is even more crazy, and they had to get this much more powerful just to be able to handle him, then how is he going to argue that Kid Buu is stronger? Yes, I know the anime said it, but now he's using arguments that are contradicting the anime and what he said. Personally, I would have gone with the manga's one instead of the anime's one, even though he's saying GT connects to the anime instead of the manga. But the anime's one does not make sense. The power scaling on it is very inconsistent. I think that was one of his biggest mistakes that he did. Because now look at it, it's coming back to contradict him.
Can be considered 100 Super Saiyan Trunks and Super Saiyan Gotens punching you in the face at the same time. Base Kefla is Super Saiyan 2 Caulifla plus controlled Berserk Kale, then times 100, you get the idea.
Yeah.
I hope I sound reasonable here. I try and explain this as best
Yeah, that sounds kind of reasonable. It's just a little more
vague statements and
complicated.
fusion and all the contradictions. So
I do think that with the fusions, they should 100% at this point have a definitive formula for it. They're giving us like bits and pieces, and sometimes they change it here and there. Give us a definitive formula and stay consistent with it. That's it. Like you fix the problem there.
It's basically Super Saiyan 4 Goku plus Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta times 100. And that's how to keep it simple. But you apply whatever multiplier you want to these two and let me know what you think it should be.
Nah, I think this is good enough.
Super Saiyan 4 Goku at 47 duodecillion and Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta's 47 duodecillion equals 94 duodecillion. Then times 100, we get 9 tridecillion, 399 duodecillion for base Gogeta. That's insane. That puts base Gogeta at 34.44 times stronger than Omega Shenron.
So if he was that much more stronger than him, 34.44 times, I'm not saying that he's right, because even though I would agree with his, fusion calculation, his calcs for how strong Goku and Vegeta got was, I wouldn't agree with that or a lot of the calculations. But let's go off of this one, 34.44 times stronger. If he got that much stronger in base, why would he go Super Saiyan 4 then? He could have just, even in Super Saiyan would have been more than enough. I mean, base is already more than enough.
But what about Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta? Let's add the Super Saiyan 4 multiplier on top. The good old 6 trillion multiplier.
6 trillion,
Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta at 59. Okay. Sec 10 decillion, 353 sextillion times, right, that's enough. Stronger than Super Saiyan Goku versus Kid Buu's power. Gigantic.
I've never heard those numbers yet.
Shenron survived the Big Bang Kamehameha, where he loses all of the Dragon Balls.
He did say that he put half of his power into it, but still, even with half, in his base should have been able to obliterate him.
Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta was stated to be able to defeat Omega with one finger. There's no reason statistically and through scaling why Omega...
Obviously, if you're that much more powerful in base than going Super Saiyan 4, but why find Energy Blast?
Plot allowing him to. Yes, plot and story typically interfere.
I will agree with him on this. I did say that one thing that pissed me off about this arc, in my video about the review of the Shadow Dragons arc, was the fact that he could have easily beat him there. There was no reason for him to let him live. And at least in Z, the reason why he didn't finish it off was because, Vegito didn't finish it off was because he was trying to rescue the other people that was inside Buu. So he had a reasoning. This one, he had no reasoning. He was just playing around and it was just dumb for no reason. And they could have easily ended right there without even him having to fire the blast. Like a punch should have been able to destroy him. So why the hell did he have to use, an energy attack?
What fighters can do in Dragon Ball. So we have to know when to separate feats of potential from storytelling. Eat your heart out, cauliflower.
Yeah, that part just never made sense to me. Even if I don't take his mathematics into
before we get to the real
consideration,
power of the change state,
I still agree with that.
Let's break down the most downplayed and criminally lowballed feat in Dragon Ball history: Omega Shenron's
this one I know.
minus energy.
I've been waiting for this.
Destruction feat. This happened right after Goku had fallen from the minus ball. The reason why this feat is downplayed is because the minus power was destroying the universe over time and not instantly at the click of their fingers. That is literally it. But then, the ones who downplay this feat will stop right there and aren't able to expand on what is actually happening with the feat, the truth. So let me
I've
explain
heard
to
you explain it, but I want to
just
see
how
his
deadly
explanation.
this feat is and what it means about Omega Shenron's raw power in general when he actually tries. As you know, major fighters in the GT universe have been in the multiversal range in terms of raw power scaling.
No, they haven't. There hasn't been any real statements that they were.
GT. If you don't agree with that, definitely check out episode 1 and 2, and it will quickly answer your questions.
I did. I disproved
So
it, and you had incorrect reasonings.
Maximum potential fighters in the Shadow Dragons arc are in a higher multiversal raw power.
Hurry up, explain it.
Even on the official Toei website, Black Smoke Shenron, the blue asshole dragon with a cigar, even he is universal, as it's stated he will destroy the whole universe if left alone. You can interpret that however you want, but it's simple to understand. Black Smoke Shenron can destroy a universe. Omega Shenron's
Here's the thing: Black Smoke Shenron is not a fighter. I think basically, since he is basically he has all the other Dragon Balls, the same effect would happen that happened with Omega. Because when he absorbed the Dragon Balls, only then when he absorbed all of them did these powers work together. It was like the first guy who had the pollution powers, and it was magnified to basically spread that pollution throughout the universe and corrupt things, and then have them explode and destroy, and basically like decaying them. So I don't think they mean that he's literally universal level. It just means that once when all the Dragon Balls are together and all their powers are together, like it was with him, it will cause that effect. So it just depends on who has all of them.
This energy feat affects everything in the universe, significantly affected. So it's at least universal plus. It significantly affects the living world, otherworld, hell, and even the Kaioshin realm. We all know where the Kaioshin realm is located in terms of the universe. Omega states he will lay waste to the entire universe, and this is not a lie. This isn't instant, but it's happening very quickly as Kabuto Kai wants to leave immediately. I mean, where is he planning on going? Universe 6? So the feat is not insta-universe destruction, right? Yet it's happening very quickly, and yet some people don't even realize the truth here, that Omega is not fighting to create this feat. He's not creating huge energy balls to create this feat. He's not clashing punches with gods of destructions to create this feat. He's not even powering up excessively to create this feat. Omega is standing still, creating this feat. Laughing. Omega is merely existing and the universe is being destroyed. Think about that. How can standing still be the full capabilities of a character? It's factually and statistically not true. If his presence is destroying the universe very quickly, regardless of plot storytelling, what do you think his explosive power potential can do? If he can just stand there and destroy the universe, it's frightening. And this is why the scaling in this power scale is extremely consistent and reliable to put these characters multiversal due to the power jumps from the beginning of GT. His energy was stretching across the entire macrocosm, and we know his energy was distorting spatio-temporality. Since it states that his energy was going to destroy the entire universe is not defined by its size, but the combination of spatio and temporal dimensions, or time and space together in layman's terms. So if Omega Shenron was going to destroy the entire universe, then his energy affects it on a space level as well as time. His energy even seems to reach outside the macrocosm, in turn meaning his negative energy from merely existing can reach past infinity since the universe is infinite. The reason why the feat in itself isn't multiversal, because he needs to destroy 1001 different space-time continuums. That many space-times doesn't exist inside the macrocosm, even including the Kaioshin realm. However, with the raw power increase of the GT verse since Kid Buu, and the feats that appeared in the Z anime, Omega Shenron is capable of duodecillions the power of Kid Buu, which is far greater than 1001. So this is a fair analysis. The feat isn't multiversal, but the power potential of Omega Shenron is high levels of multiversal. I mean,
Okay, I sat there and listened to his explanation. He did not disprove the arguments that people were making. This is the dumbest thing. First of all, let's get on the whole universe is infinite. It is not. I don't know how many times I have to explain this. It's just a benchmark. It is not infinite. We saw it in, Super. They stated the same thing. The same definition's been around since Dragon Ball Z, since GT, since Super. But we saw the edge of the universe. We know our universe is not infinite. I've explained the science behind that. It's usually people who know jack shit about science who talk the most about it. But then again, it has been shown statistically that the dumbest people are the most arrogant and think they're the smartest, whereas the smarter people usually know that they don't know as much. And he's definitely falling in that bracket. Though I don't want to call him stupid, I do think that he does act stupid when it comes to these characters, and he just fanboys out. Here's the problem with this argument. One, the universe is not infinite. Two, he said thousands of dimensions. There was not thousands of dimensions in the Dragon Ball universe. They never stated that. Third of all, this has already happened in Dragon Ball Super. Fourth, that was at least in the beginning of Super. These guys are doing it now, and on top of it, he's saying, well, Kid Buu is already universal level. So if they got this many times strong and Kid Buu is already universal level of power, then why is it impressive now that he's able to destroy it all the way to the tail end of the series with this many times of multiplying and above him? This should not be that impressive. And on top of it, his argument is he's just standing there and he's destroying it. Let me go to explain what fully happened. What happened was he was standing there, his pollution ability was working, and it was corrupting this planet. It would have in time, fully corrupt the planet, blew up the planet, then that corruption would have gone to another planet, and every other planet would have been catching it like a virus, exploding until the entire universe as a whole couldn't handle it, and then it'll spread to all the other realms, then spread it to the Kaioshin realm, destroying it all in the end. So that was one. It was not one-shotting it. Two, it took time to do it. Three, it was a chain reaction. And his argument is, well, he's just standing there. Can you imagine if he was actually attacking? Here's the thing. It was destroying the universe not just because he's standing. He's making it sound like his existence is just destroying it. No. What is happening is when he got all the Dragon Balls together, the way they work is they have all the negative energy, and when the negative energy gets together, it basically releases this, negative karma or whatever throughout his body that eclipses, the universe individually at first. It does this through a slow process, then it sets off a chain reaction, and in the end wiping it out. It's not that he is so OP that he just exists and stands and just has normal power and he can destroy the universe. It's the ability of these Dragon Balls. They set off on their own. He might not be setting it off, but that does not mean that this is him just doing by existing. This is all the negative energy from the balls coming into contact and doing what they're supposed to be doing and going through their process of releasing that pollution and negative energy throughout the universe, corrupting it, overpowering it, and then blowing it up and destroying it afterwards. He's trying to say that, well, he would have more power because that's him just standing. If he fired an attack, no, that does not have to do anything with his power. That is the balls and how they work itself. His energy attacks, because we've seen his physical attacks and his energy attacks, and he hasn't shown anything universal level or close to universal level. Even later on when he fires his big karma energy ball to try to kill him off, Goku's able to hold it off and walk through it and hit it back at him. His argument, like I said, I get where it could sound like, it makes it sound like, well, him just existing is destroying the universe. This will make him, easily multiversal, so he does have a point. But here's the thing, that's not how it works. These balls activate this, pollution ability. It's not like he just naturally had it, because throughout this entire time where he had the, 7 Dragon Balls in him, it didn't work. He didn't just activate it. It takes time for this process to start going up. So yes, he doesn't have to move or do anything because this is a natural effect. He's trying to say, well, Beerus and Goku had a clash fist to do this. But Beerus and Goku did not have, they did not have this negative energy built up in their body that has to release and corrupt things. That's why this is the case. So no, this is a universal level feat. And like I explained in the guides and stuff, it stated Sin Shenron is only galaxy level. Galaxy level. It's never stated he's universal level, galaxy level. And that description that he gave about the cosmos was incorrect. It was galaxy. So if Sin Shenron was the strongest and stuff, and he's only galaxy level, and he's arguing that they're already multiversal level, how does that work? It already stated he was galaxy level, and it makes sense. If he was galaxy level in Sin Shenron and Omega Shenron, he's universal level through time processing, or universal level plus, but through time processing, that makes more sense.
Universal plus feat from standing still?
No. Stop it. He is such a bullshitter. He's trying to say he was just standing still and that's why. No. It's because that's how the negative Dragon Balls work. They release this negative energy that does it. They're going to do it naturally on its own. That's why. He put the powers inside him and is going to naturally do it on his own. This is not, what I'm trying to say is, this is not Omega Shenron doing this. This is the negative energy from the balls coming into contact, creating this thing. It is not him. Basically what he's saying is his natural power and aura alone can do this. No. Even if, let's say, he fires off his most powerful attack, fires off a full powered Karma Death Energy Ball at the universe, it would not wipe out the universe or more than that. Why? Because his attack potency is not universal. Is the effects of the negative Dragon Balls all connected with each other because that's how they work. So yeah, I'm just gonna skip this because he's just gonna be bragging, saying stupid shit that doesn't make any sense.
Lord Lude, let's reveal why it could very well be a 5D feat if we do consider the movieverse to be linked to Dragon Ball GT.
And like I said, he's trying to be like, well, is Infinite Spaces? No, it was not Infinite Spaces either. They did this Battle of Gods in the first arc, so it's not that impressive.
Destroying the macrocosm by just existing and standing still, and this would include the deads of.
No, he was not destroying the macroverse just by existing and standing still. The Dragon Balls were doing, the negative Dragon Balls in contact over time were doing it. He was not. His power itself, he does not have the power to do that. It's just the negative Dragon Balls are doing it. If he was to fire off his most powerful attack, he wouldn't do that. Because if that's the case, because here's the reason why I don't believe that. When Goku was severely injured and in base, his little kid form, he was able to hold back an energy attack of his and he was pumping more energy into it. If he was really able to destroy the universe just by standing, why is him firing an energy attack not able to destroy him? And when Goku was doing the Universal Spirit Bomb, guess what? He was firing his energy attacks at him. He was firing his Ki Blast. He was firing Karma Balls. He was able to tank it. He's not only using a move which would take his energy and his time, but he was also getting damage. And we've seen what happens when this happens. We saw with Goku when he, was trying to use it against Vegeta. He got attacked. He lost some of the energy and got hurt. But he did it to him, and he tanked it all. And on top of it, the other reason why I do not believe that, he is universal level and why it's been disproven that his actual attack potency is universal level is because if you think about this Universal Spirit Bomb, he did not even, once when he got hit by the Universal Spirit Bomb, he got easily and instantly obliterated. Now some are going to say, well, the Universal Spirit Bomb is not universal level, it's probably even higher than that because it took the energy from the beings from the universe itself. Okay, even if we want to argue that, we can't definitively say that it would be beyond universal level because he's just taking the energy from some people around the universe and some planets and stuff and absorbing into that. And it wasn't it was everybody, but he was taking energy from people around the universe and into the ball itself. And that does not mean that it is called the Universal Spirit Bomb, not because it's a universe destroying Spirit Bomb or a Spirit Bomb that uses all the energy from the universe, but it's a Spirit Bomb that gets the energy throughout all of the universe from all the people and some planets added to it, and that hit him. And the reason why I said this discredited, because he not only did not, for one, this does not prove that this attack is universal level. It could be, but it could not be. But at most, it could be just universal level. It won't be a multiversal level somehow. How is the energy from all the people in the world, universe, going to make it multiversal? But he couldn't even handle it. If you see the fight when Goku launches at him, he's not even able to do what Kid Buu did where he was able to hold back or push it or anything. The moment it hits him, it instantly obliterates and kills him, meaning that this Universal Spirit Bomb was beyond his durability, which would put him, which would go past the whole, multiversal
which
feat.
is confirmed to be a hyperspace, making this feat 5D, as a hyperspace has 4.
I will ignore this because it's just dumb movie
along with
stuff.
The rest of the macrocosm, so Omega can destroy a hyperspace, making him 5D. So this in turn could very well make Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta 5D, Change State Goku 5D, and at a push, Ultra
Change State Goku 5D, get the fuck out of here.
Because he did display as much power to overpower Omega at one point, penetrating him and...
So yeah, we saw throughout this entire fight, he showed nothing that would be on Universal or Universal Plus level of destructive power through his own means. It was only when the Dragon Balls were activating and doing what they were supposed to do. It is the Dragon Ball's own ability.
We're only too exhausted. They're beat down and pretty much on the ropes. Omega Shenron charges up his -4 once again and plans to end it all. He launches an attack, Vegeta steps in to counter, but Goku smashes Vegeta out of the way and intends on taking the hit himself. Keep in mind, this is a Goku who has been fighting all day and now lost his power to transform. He can't even fuse, he's absolutely ruined at this point. This is until the minus energy ball makes contact with him. Omega...
Well, also I do want to mention, because I think he skipped it, when Nova Shenron caught Omega, he was gonna obliterate him with his heat. He put him in the heat trap thing and he was gonna obliterate him. The only reason Omega survived was because he transferred over his body into the Dragon Balls and launched it inside Nova Shenron, basically inhabiting his body so he can protect himself. But the heat alone was gonna obliterate him. So if he's saying this guy multiversal level, how the hell would Nova Shenron's heat be able to completely fry and kill him to the point where he had to make such a desperate attempt?
Implies the energy ball is smaller than before, so we won't give it a 12.4 times multiplier like it was against Gogeta, but rather half of it due to it being roughly half the size, so 6.2 times the power.
See, he's saying only Earth, he could destroy the Earth. With his energy, he should have been able to, if he can, by just existing and standing, destroying the universe and Universal Plus, and he should be multiversal, then why is he only going to be able to destroy the planet right here? Especially if he's aiming to kill them at this point, he's already won. Why not?
Making this attack approximately 1.6 trillion times that of Kid Buu. Goku blocks this attack. Goku literally just seemingly lost all of his strength.
He's putting more energy into it too.
Courage, he blocks the attack, and he pushes it back towards Omega, igniting his aura. Even Omega screams at one point. He blocked this attack for nearly a minute. Omega
he didn't block it, he held it and pushed it.
Harder to finally annihilate Goku. Now, domination multiplier, yes. Omega's attack was stronger at this point, but for Goku to block and hold it for nearly a minute doesn't mean he was absolutely insanely dominated. The ball eventually hit him, so giving this minus ball a low-end domination multiplier of 1.25 times this monstrous overflowing power of Goku is reasonable due to Goku's sheer will, love for the Earth, and his courage raising his power to initially take on the minus ball.
Nah, that's just bad writing. It makes no sense. Super Saiyan 4 Goku wouldn't have been able to do that and struggled against it. But you're telling me that now in his base form, completely beaten and bruised, and even more severely damaged, can push it back? That's just called shit writing. It's that simple.
As we know, courage is a part of Ki. Courage is the theme of the 4-star ball. The
yes, it gives you power, but not that much power that you're going to go that much of a significant jump.
Skyrocket here, based on his courage raising his Ki to the
or just shitty writing, that's more reasonable.
What activates the change state? Courage, that's just a thought. Now, if Goku managed to push away this energy ball, we don't know how he would have performed against Omega in close combat with that heightened strength displayed. But
he's saying it's heightened strength. It's more reasonable that it's just bad writing because they're like, oh, let's make the scene more dramatic and more intense. He takes the story and the plot into consideration when it's, convenient for him and defends his argument, but to say like, oh, they're not that powerful. But when it's like, it makes them look more powerful. Now he's like, nope, the plot doesn't have anything to do with this. Even though, let's be honest, reasonably, Goku should not get stronger in this form, especially at this point, or that much stronger. There's no stating that he got stronger. It's just bad writing. It's more reasonable that the plot was the reason he was able to push it, not through any real means.
If he's able to nearly deal with a minus ball, that is 6.2 times Omega's power for nearly a minute, it's now statistically possible he could deal with Omega's regular power if he could sustain the same willpower he displayed against the minus ball. This is absolutely insane when you think about it, and if you think it's ridiculous and shouldn't be this way, remember the entire GT series so far, this is consistent with the ridiculous jumps in GT. It's true. It truly is all about Goku's broken power-ups to fit the rhythm of the plot. Remember, when Goku was weakened in base form, couldn't lift a finger, and then
I would disprove this one.
Shenron and Nova Shenron, this point in the struggle, the change state of, at least in...
This change state is a headcanon. He says he's not going to accept other headcanons, but then this is a direct headcanon. It was never stated that he got stronger. This is simply bad writing and them not really thinking. I mean, he was hitting Hercule and the other humans with full-on attacks that he was hitting, Trunks and Gohan and Goten with, and he was hitting Hercule with the same, and he was able to survive it. It's just bad writing.
This is that of Goku's change state. Now, the change state is by far the most powerful transformation Goku's ever utilized, and I have a solid foundation of evidence in this video that it's the strongest form of Goku in every single Dragon Ball continuity. The change state form's potential is boundless.
It's not changed. Oh my god. Where the fuck did he get this change state from? This is the biggest load of bullshit I've ever seen. These guys, like I said, that's the problem with fanboys. They want to defend something so bad, even when writing is shit, instead of just being like, this is bad writing, or this was just inconsistencies, or this was just for the plot to, raise the stakes. They're like, yep, nope, this means he had a BS power-up that was never stated and never confirmed. A change state, this is a made-up shit that you made in your own head.
But what exactly is it?
Nothing. It's something you made up.
Talked about in the community.
Because it's not real and you just made it up.
The majority of Dragon Ball Ball GT haters breeze through GT at best without paying any actual
I
attention.
literally watched
to
the
what's going
entire
on.
show.
Maybe a few dub YouTube clips and a dozen Reddit hate pages to strengthen their lack of knowledge.
See, that's what I hate. They all just haters. They're all just haters. Or you're just a dick rider. Is it more believable that they're haters and they have reasonable arguments, or you're just a dick rider? Because from what I've seen, you've been dick riding this entire franchise. I mean, you're obviously obviously a GT fanboy, so it's not really fair to like act like you're not a dick rider. Like, let's be honest, it's real.
So let's begin with credible material. First, let's begin with an official interview in the 2005's Dragon Ball GT Dragon Box DVD release. Script writer Atsushi Maekawa details on Goku's change state. To be honest, in GT episode 63, just before the final episode, a big change comes over Goku. Those who watched carefully might have noticed, but in that episode, Goku, who takes on Yi Xinglong's attack, sinks to the bottom of a deep hole. That is the turning point. Afterward, Goku still continues the battle, but what's different from before is that he's cloaked in an aura that won't let any attacks near him. It might be that he died there, or it might be that he became something else entirely. I'll leave that decision up to the imaginations of everyone who watched. However, the Goku up to that point that everyone knows clearly does not appear after that. In the world of Dragon Ball, Goku had already died multiple times, and up till then, each time he appeared with a halo over his head. However, I didn't want to go with the usual concept of even when he dies, he comes right back to life. I wanted the viewers to picture death in that way, and a feel of sadness close to it in reality, so I had a change come over Goku. Now, just so you know, this video is...
Okay, I will admit I was wrong on that part. Then, if that's the case, like, I'm willing to admit when I'm wrong. So admit I was wrong on that part. But then what are they saying? Is he dead? Is he dead and that's what's happening? That still makes the writing bad. Like, how is he dead and still moving? They're like, okay, he has to win no matter what, so let's just make him a dead moving creature. So yeah, is he dead or what the hell is happening? This is just still bad writing. If he died, then he shouldn't have been there. Why would he be there? This is just them making an excuse for like, okay, we had no way for Goku to be able to survive that and do what he did. And because, like, let's be honest, logically, if Goku's doing a spirit bomb, there's no way for him to hide it, and there's no way for him to avoid the attacks. The only way he could do it was have him tank it, so he had this BS reasoning. I think the writer or whoever did it just didn't know what the hell they were doing.
Intention is not explaining the mystery behind what's going on, but only explain the power displayed in front of us. In a nutshell, after Goku falls to the minus ball, a change has fully come over him when he's rising with a spirit bomb, and he is much stronger, to the point where it's uncertain of his actual limits. The narrative uses Pan to explain Goku is a god. And in Dragon Ball GT, or at least during that time in Dragon Ball, the level Goku ascended to was the highest in terms of pure light celestial energy, the complete opposite of minus energy. You could even say in the GT verse, Goku is angelic, a height beyond anything in Dragon Ball at that time that no one else could reach, where he could travel to places no one else can go. This was higher than every single Kaioshin rank at the time. It was never stated what he became.
I mean, I wouldn't say that because after this, he did have Shenron heal his body up. So yeah, if he was like, this transcended being, I think he did transcend in a sort of aspect. I don't know to what extent. But he did transcend once when he left with Shenron, obviously, and he came back the 100 time skip, which I will check that out, but probably next week, because I'm going to be dropping out the review on the Dragon Ball Super manga chapter. But yeah, I see that there, but I want to say in the fight, you know why? Because after the fight was over, Shenron literally healed Goku back up. So if Goku really was transcended and, this powerful, whatever, he wouldn't need Shenron to heal him back up, would he? So yeah, he healed him back up. I think once when he left with him, then whatever transcendence might have happened or occurred. But prior to that, he still wasn't in that state because he had to be healed still.
But the story clearly shows us that he had become the peak of Dragon Ball power. How strong is this form? Well, before Goku fell to the minus ball, which had a power of 1.6 trillion times that of Kid Buu, we calculated Goku's power to be 1.3 trillion times Kid Buu. The change was starting to take effect there. However, when Goku was holding the Spirit Bomb, he is tanking Omega's attacks like they are nothing. What begins with Omega launching a barrage of key attacks at Goku, Goku endures the impact as he's communicating with Kid.
Yeah, that's called bad
then
writing.
All of a sudden, it escalates and Omega launches his minus ball at Goku. And after a direct hit, Goku took it on the chin and is just there smiling away like nothing happened. Absolutely insane. This shows us that Goku's power was gradually rising in this changed state, where it became its fullest potential. It's crystal
Once again, it makes
clear,
no sense. This is
completely
just bad
changes as the
writing.
white glow fully surrounds his body towards the finale where he launches the Spirit Bomb. The changed state at this point easily puts Goku above the minus energy ball. In fact, it's far in the clear. Even if we lowball it to ×2 the minus energy ball, that means Goku is 2 times the 6.2 multiplier, making him a bare minimum of 12.4 times Omega Shenron's raw base power. Now the fact that the minus ball hit Goku in the face and he remained there floating, didn't even budge an inch, didn't even flinch, is 2 times the minus ball a criminal level low ball. The fact that Goku was taking 0 damage from these attacks, the fact he appeared indestructible, makes the change state at levels we can't even fathom or quantify. We just don't know how far it pushes Goku's potential. There were no limits from what we saw, but we have to go with the 2 times the minus.
I want to say no limits because, like I said, he had to get healed up. This is, once again, he does do a lot of no limit fallacies. There was nothing that indicated he had no limits. Just because he's able to tank his attacks and not flinch to it does not mean he can take any character's attacks and not flinch to it. That's a direct no limit fallacy. There's no real argument to it.
As it helps with the consistency for domination multipliers and growth in this power scale. But there is a strong possibility the change state has an infinite multiplier, at least in terms of durability.
Infinite?
Goku
No.
sent to a level
Just because he's taking his attacks does not make him infinite.
3 decillion times stronger than Kid Buu for the change state, but what would the multiplier of the change state be? So if Goku was less than 10% power during the minus ball struggle, that would make weakened base Goku roughly 700 septillion times Kid Buu instead of a full base of 7 octillion times Kid Buu. In order to get to 2 times the minus ball, it's about a 4.5 quadrillion multiplier. What the hell?
I mean, I wouldn't go with that because it was just bad writing right there. Like I said, he was holding back the energy attack, and I highly doubt he was holding back that much because the energy ball was still the same size as the one that he hit him right over there. So I would say his power would be the same.
If we use a theoretical 100% full base Goku, then his change form would take him to near 30.
See what I mean? He said 100%. So if he has infinite power and indestructible, there wouldn't be no 100% or not. Because if you have there's nothing that can damage you, then you wouldn't have 100% or 0% or whatever. And the fact that you got to get healed, it just proves that.
Times Kid Buu's power. Yes, Change Goku is literally the god of Dragon Ball, at least classic Dragon Ball. 32 trillion times Kid Buu. I mean, we only grounded it so that we can put a number on it in the first place. It likely has no limit. Or at the very least, we didn't come close to nailing the rest of the power increase. He could be 2 times stronger than the minus ball, 10 times, 1,000, 1 million, 1 billion. We don't know. Even if you don't want to use a multiplier, it already should.
Okay, just go ahead.
Fantastic send-off attack to tell a wonderful story. Why did Goku urgently request power for the Spirit Bomb to defeat Omega if his body was able to tank Omega's best hits? It makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. This is where you must know the difference between statistical potential versus storytelling. The truth behind the
Maybe it was just a bit of a power-up for that time moment so he can launch the attack. Maybe this power-up that he's acting as that this is him completely changing, maybe that was just for a short time so he can launch the attack instead of him completely changing into this. It's probably a temporary power boost so he can launch it instead of a permanent one, and then he just launched it because of story narrative, which I will be skipping.
The ultimate finish, the desperation that this is the
Also, like I said, if Omega Shenron was that powerful that he can destroy the, he was Universal Plus just by existing, and he was high multiversal, then the Universal Spirit Bomb wouldn't have killed him that easily. Even if we say, because the Universal Spirit Bomb just gets the energy from all the living beings from the universe together. And yes, that amplifies the energy, but would you say that it amplifies it to multiversal levels? No. I would say at most universal or universal level plus, but that was able to easily obliterate him. And Sin was already stated to be only galaxy level, which contradicts all of his other statements about this character or that character being, this or that powerful.
The only way, and why wouldn't you want that? It's an amazing story. We must accept plot and narrative overrides the real use of characters' potential and what they're visually portraying.
Oh, now he's saying that we should take plot over the character's rising potential. So every time when you had these characters just get ridiculously powerful, and be like, well, they got this powerful because of this. Or maybe the plot was the reasoning. Because like I said, for my argument, the reason why a lot of these times they got these ridiculous amps, it was him not taking the plot into consideration, just be like, well, they got this powerful. Whereas if you put in the plot, the only reason they were able to do that was because the plot just allowed it, and didn't like say they got stronger. It was just, oh, they were able to do this because you know, they have to help out. So yeah, I gave multiple reasonings throughout these videos about, you know, where plot came in to like for an explanation on why, and he just ignored it and went to power. Now he's saying plot is over that. Just contradictory.
We must accept they wanted a got to Omega Shenron, plenty of it. But after the fight, Goku is KO'd. Visually, it appears like Shenron heals and exhausted Goku from the battle, but what's important to note is that the battle did indeed have a major toll on Goku. The battle completely whipped his base form ass in terms of exhaustion. A changed state would obviously be dangerous on a base form of 10% power or less.
Like I said, if he was this infinite base state, or where he has like untouchable, he wouldn't need to be healed, and him saying it's dangerous doesn't make sense. Like he's that powerful.
100% healed could be game changer. With a 4.5 quadrillion multiplier at the very least, from that to potentially limitless, combine that with a broken dragon fist that is calculated to be a further 1 quadrillion multiplier, or could even be limitless in attack power overall. We've got the ultimate form with limitless durability combined with a move with limitless attack power. The perfect combination. You've got,
like I said, this guy over exaggerating. Limitless this, limitless that. He did not prove why this is limitless, and I've just proven all this stuff, but I just
overpowered.
Well, that's it for this video. I'm going to be getting onto his 100-year time skip one. Obviously, he's already stating that he's limitless. I don't agree with it. It's like when Screwtack was saying, Superman is limitless, he can do anything. No, Superman was not limitless, and Goku's not limitless. This, especially GT version of Goku, is definitely not limitless. Like I said, he struggled against all this stuff. How are you going to say that? And they're saying the Dragon Fist. I already disproven it. What's his name? One, just because he beat Super 17 with it does not mean it was limitless. It's not like Super 17 was this unstoppable being. 2, Super 17 was also hurt from the explosion. He's acting like Goku only took the damage from using up the explosion, and 17 completely survived. Yes, he used the barrier to protect himself. It also saved Goku from getting killed, but it also still, he got damage from it. You see damage marks on him, and it is even stated in there. So he ignored that. But yeah, the Dragon Fist is not infinite. He does not have infinite power. The change state, even though if you want to argue that, would not put him at infinite or at any of that stuff. So yeah, it's just an over-exaggeration on his part. I don't like it. I don't agree with a lot of the stuff he said. I just agree with most of the stuff he said. I think his power scaling, he's trying to over-exaggerate these characters. He is 100% dick riding these characters in their power. They are not as powerful as he says they are. So yeah, that's it for this video. This video is already long enough. It took me quite a bit of while and time and headaches to get it done and through it. So I'll be doing the next one next week. But today I'm going to be bringing on the Dragon Ball Super manga chapter. Also, I forgot to mention, but on Sunday I'm going to try to go watch the Dragon Ball Super superhero movie, and I can't promise if I will, but I will try to go watch it on a Saturday, and then when I come home I will make a review of it. So I'll take my camera there, I'll record me going to the movie theater, not the movie itself, but record me going to there, and then I'll come back here and I'll have my review on what I thought about Dragon Ball Super Superheroes movie, and my thoughts on it, and then future videos about the power scaling and stuff. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and stay tuned for next time.